Next, I will introduce the operating mode of probe mode. I will start with probe mode 1. First, we enter the parameter settings. Probe mode 1 only uses the mode 1 and the minimum concentration settings in mode 2. This minimum concentration is designed to detect water flow. We usually set it to 50. When the probe concentration exceeds 50, the system determines that there is water and the detergent pump will start to operate. Then we go to parameter 1. The left column is the operating parameters for the detergent pump, and the right column is for the rinse aid pump. First are speeds 1 and 2, which are the percentage speeds for the detergent and rinse aid pumps, respectively. If we set it to 0, the pump will not operate. Then below that is the concentration. This concentration is our target concentration. After setting a value, if the concentration detected by the probe is below this value, Pump 1 will continue to operate until it exceeds this value. We click to set. When the cursor blinks, it displays the real-time concentration detected by the probe. Clicking set again will set the target to the current real-time concentration. Then, how do we manually adjust this concentration? It is done through the two small dots in the lower right corner. The left dot adjusts by tens, and the right dot adjusts by ones. Below the concentration is this plus-minus number, which is actually the upper and lower limits of the target concentration. If the current real-time concentration is below its lower bound, for example, if I set a concentration of 60 with an upper and lower limit of plus or plus 10, when the detected concentration falls below the lower limit of 50, it will continue to operate until it exceeds the upper limit of 70 before stopping. Then there is the alarm time below. If pump 1 continues to operate abnormally without stopping, reaching the set alarm time, for example, we set it to 50 seconds, the dispenser will stop and alarm. Let's run it and see. Back to the main interface, you can see that pump 1 has already started working. It does not need to receive any signal. If the probe concentration is below the set concentration's lower bound, pump 1 will continue to work. When the current concentration is above the set concentration's upper bound, it will stop working. That is, above 60, it will stop working. And now, since our concentration has not reached 60 and has been working continuously for 50 seconds, the dispenser stops and alarms. Then, when we click Set to return, the alarm stops. Next, I will explain the operation mode of Pump 2. The operation mode of Pump 2 is divided into three cases. The first case is when both delay 2 and work 2 have values. For example, a delay of 3 seconds and work of 5 seconds. Let's run it and see. First, we set the minimum concentration to 50 so that the detergent pump will not start operating. Then we return to the main interface. Pump 2 only starts to work after receiving the rinse signal. I now give a rinse signal. You can see it immediately runs for our set time of 5 seconds, then waits for our set delay time of 3 seconds, and runs again for 5 seconds in an infinite loop until our rinse signal is disconnected. It will then immediately stop working. This is the first case. Then we return to the parameter setting interface. Our second case is where the delay is 0 and work has a value, for example, 5 seconds. Let's run it again and see. I output a rinse signal. You can see pump 2 also works directly, but stops after running for 5 seconds and then will not work again. Let's try it again. Watch as I disconnect the rinse signal, it will still continue to work, which is different from the first case. After disconnection, pump 2 continues running until 5 seconds are up. This is the second case. We return to the parameter setting interface again. The third case is where the work time is 0 and the delay time has a value. For example, I set a delay of 3 seconds. Let's run it and see. You can see after receiving the rinse signal, our pump 2 starts working after waiting 3 seconds and will continue to work until the rinse signal is disconnected. This is the third case. All right, that concludes the explanation of probe mode 1. Next is the explanation of probe mode 2. We first go to the probe setting interface. The only difference between probe mode 1 and probe mode 2 is probe mode 2 adds the mode 2 feature here on the basis of probe mode 1. The minimum concentration here is universal. First is startup work, meaning each time the machine starts up, the detergent pump will work for the set seconds. We set it here for 3 seconds. Then there's the signal selection below. This signal selection means we can choose whether to receive a detergent D signal or a rinse R signal. Our detergent pump, which is the pump on the left, starts working according to the concentration in parameter 1 after receiving the R signal. Simultaneously, no matter which signal we choose, our rinse aid pump will work according to the time set in parameter 1 after receiving the R signal. That is, the difference between probe mode 1 and probe mode 2 is all right, let's run it and see. You can see, after starting up, the detergent pump begins to work. It stops after working for 3 seconds. And we have set the signal to R signal. Before receiving the R signal, neither of our 2 pumps will work. I now input an R signal. You can see after receiving the signal, since the concentration does not reach the set target concentration, pump 1 immediately starts working. And pump 2 also starts working according to the set time, operating with the same logic as probe mode 1. And after the R signal is disconnected, both pump 1 and pump 2 immediately stop working. This is how probe mode 2 works. All right, that concludes the explanation of the probe modes. Thank you for watching.
Splani.